According to the Ukrainian media, a show trial over the imprisoned defenders of Azovstal is to take place on August 24th, on the day of Ukraine's independence, in the Russian-controlled Mariupol. Now, there are many reports in the media that the scenery is being prepared in Mariupol for an absolutely disgusting and absurd show trial of Ukrainian defenders, our warriors who are captives of the occupiers. If this vile demonstration practice takes place, the border will be crossed beyond which any negotiations with Russia will be impossible. Russia will be cut off from the negotiations. There will be no more talks. All Ukraine's partners have been informed about what we expect, and we appeal to them for their support in this matter. According to reports from the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the Russian fleet is destroying military facilities in the Black Sea, Azov, and inland. Meanwhile, according to the findings of the American Institute of War Studies, the Russians, despite further successes in the Bakhmut area, will soon run out of mobilized units to continue their attacks. The enemy fired artillery at Oboda in the Sumy region. Towards Kharkiv, the enemy conducts firing from tanks, barrel, and jet artillery. The villages between Izium and Sloviansk were attacked, but the Russian forces were repelled. The enemy continues to attack new positions north of Bakhmut, mainly on the Zaitsev and Bilogorivka estates. Attempts of assault operations west of Donetsk have been reported, but we have repelled hostile attacks. In the direction of Zaporizhia, the occupiers also caused fire damage in residential districts. On the other hand, in the direction of Mykolaiv, the occupiers took over Blahodatne. Today, Ukrainian troops attacked the Antonov Bridge near Kherson again to prevent the Russians from repairing it. The Russians are trying to restore the functioning of this bridge, but such a crossing cannot be repaired with a bucket of concrete. It would require quite a major renovation. That is why we maintain fire control over the Antonovsky Bridge, and from a distance we remind of our presence. For several weeks now in the Luhansk region, Russians forcibly mobilize civilians to fight against Ukrainian troops. Men up to 65 years of age are sent to the front, including minors who used to enjoy the status of a protected professional group, as well as disabled and minors. The inhabitants of Luhansk report repeated cases of disappearance of young people aged 14 to 18. Minors are detained until their identity is established. The verification procedure does not take 72 hours as usual, but until the guardian requests the child. Most often, a father or brother is asked the question, if not a child, who will go to the front instead. On Saturday, the daughter of Alexander Dugin, the Kremlin's chief ideologist, died. The case was commented on by former Russia Duma deputy Ilya Ponomarev. In his opinion, members of the resistance movement involved in the coup are ready to launch further attacks on people associated with Putin. This attack opens a new stage of Russian resistance to Putinism. New, but not the last one. Daria was a faithful companion of Dugin. She called for the extermination of Ukrainians, for violence and murder in the occupied territory. Revenge took place yesterday. The Lord saved Dugin himself, but had prepared a far more terrible punishment for him. This action, like many other direct partisan actions carried out in Russia in recent months, has been carried out by the Republican National Army. We have made contact with its fighters through our team, which is watching the rising tide of resistance in Russia. The National Republican Army is calling on the Russians to join their ranks. President Vladimir Putin has been declared a war criminal by the organization and will be overthrown and destroyed by the organization. It seems to me that there is a kind of chaos growing in Russia, and all sorts of groups, probably originating from the civilian and military services, even internally within their own organizations, are starting to fight each other, and perhaps this was a part of one of those wars. An exhibition of damaged Russian military equipment has been organized on the main street of Kiev, which is part of the Ukraine Independence Day celebrations scheduled for Wednesday.